Joining us on This Week in America on the Blue Funk Broadcasting Radio Network. We're talking about internet insecurity at 40,000 feet. Adriel Des Hotels is our guest. He is the co-founder, along with the chief technological officer of NetraGuard. They are specialists in anti-hacking, recognized around the world. Adriel is also a recognized leader in the information security industry. Adriel, welcome to This Week in America. Great to have you with us.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
We see all this race now among the airlines to get Wi-Fi available on their flights. And a lot of it is, okay, we can get a little extra revenue as well. But this race, and we all think, okay, I use Wi-Fi. I use it at home. I use it at the office. I use it at internet cafes. So immediately we think it's okay to use it on the airplane. And you're saying not so fast. You really need to do a little research before you pop open the laptop and use it on an airplane.
Yeah, absolutely. When you buy a Wi-Fi router from the store and you put it in your house, that Wi-Fi router provides you with something that's called WPA2. And that enables you to set up a protected connection between your computer and the wireless router. Airplanes and the vendors that are selling this Wi-Fi technology to airplanes are not using this WPA2 protection. So that means that when you're sitting on an airplane, everything that you do with your computer when you're connected to the internet is broadcast in clear text or unprotected for anybody else in the airplane to pick up, receive, record, manipulate, etc.
And when you think of all the people, look around on a flight that are business people, and now they can use their laptop to be connected, it's a little scary proposition. You say what they don't have is the WPA2. Should we be asking before we pull out the laptop on a flight if, in fact, they are using that?
Yes, absolutely. And if they're not using it, then it would be my recommendation to not connect.
Will airlines respond to this and actually hook up the proper security measures?
I hope that airlines respond to it, but it's not the airline's responsibility to enforce this. It's the people who are selling this technology to the airlines. So hopefully the vendors will respond to this and will implement WPA2, which, by the way, is a very common technology. It's nothing difficult or nothing new.
Adriel Des Hotels is our guest on the program. He is a partner as well as chief technological officer for NetraGuard.com. NetraGuard LLC, the website NetraGuard.com. An interesting website, gives you a lot of good information as well. They are international specialists in anti-hacking. Let's talk about what actually could happen. I'm a businessman. I'm on the flight. I don't realize this really isn't as secure as I think it is, and I pull out the laptop. What are some things that can happen to me?
Well, let's pretend that I'm the hacker. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my laptop, and I'm going to perform what's called a man-in-the-middle attack. In other words, I'm going to make sure that your connection goes from you to me, then to the wireless router. And at that point, I can subvert your SSL connection. So if you purchase anything with credit cards, so on and so forth, I can take that information. More importantly, because I'm the man in the middle, I can inject malware, something like a worm or a bot or a virus, into your network connection, and I can infect your computer system. So when you take that computer system and you bring it back to your office, that infection can spread throughout the office. And if that infection is set up to install, say, bots or backdoor type programs, those bots can connect back to me, and then I gain control of your office network as well as your laptop. So technically, I can use these open or unprotected networks to compromise businesses.
So not only am I in peril as I'm using it on a flight, it could actually be hijacked later, and when I get back into work, everybody's computer could be accessed.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Adriel Des Hotels, our guest. The website is NetraGuard.com, talking about internet insecurity at 40,000 feet. I understand, too, that lack of encryption could allow someone to actually defeat other security protocols you have as well.
Yeah, because there's no real encryption at the link layer, it would be sort of like if I have a laptop that's plugged into a network, and you want to plug into the network too, I give you a network cable that plugs into my laptop, and you take my laptop and then you connect to the network through your laptop. So I'm the man in the middle again. So if you try to set up a secure connection like SSL or some VPNs, it's actually possible to defeat those protected configurations or the secure socket layer of the VPN connection, and to be able to capture the data that's going through those secure tunnels as well. Now, the only way to protect yourself against this is to actually have a protected link layer. And the best way to do that is for the vendor of these technologies to implement WPA2.
Basically, and we've got about a minute left in this segment, a little advice, and I think you just gave us some. We really need to ask questions and be sure before we pull the laptop out. Otherwise, don't connect to the internet.
Yeah, and one of the best ways to know if your access points for your wireless access points are protected or not, when you go to connect to an access point, if it does not prompt you for a password or a token or a key, then chances are that it is going to be an open or unprotected network. If it does prompt you for a password, then it is most likely, or it is some form of a protected network. Additionally, if you're using an Apple, when you pull down a little drop-down menu and you see all the different wireless access points, the ones that are protected will have a little image of a padlock next to them. The ones that are not won't.
It's interesting, and I would assume that even if we do feel safe and we're using it, we're in very confined quarters. You would probably recommend still being very cautious about how you use it, even if you feel it is secured.
Yes, and the reason behind that, one of the primary reasons, is because it's entirely possible for a hacker to create a fake wireless access point so that you connect to that hacker, and then he captures all your data and he connects you to the internet. And so it's possible, and it's also common that hackers will do this to capture data.
Interesting, fascinating. I think I'm just going to leave the computer at home and forget about it or leave it packed up while I'm on the flight. Netrogard.com is the website. Adriel Desautels is a partner. He's along with the Chief Technological Officer for the company. He's been with us on This Week in America on the Blue Funk Broadcasting Radio Network. Excellent. Thank you. We're going to get around and we'll do the second one here.
Okay.
That's a lot of good information there, and I struggle with this. I'm not all that computer literate. I think I just forget it.
Oh, that's okay.
There's so many things they can do to you and they're not good.
Yeah.
That's just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's effectively a premature reliance on technology. I actually I gave a speech in the FBI back in 2000 about this, and the real issue is that we prematurely rely on technology because technology makes things easier. But our reliance is so heavy now on this technology that nobody stops to think what will happen if somebody is able to break or defeat the technology. I mean, these days, if you knock technology offline, you can kill communications, you can kill power, you can kill sewage controls, you can kill everything.
Well, in fact, I'd love to do another program on that at some time and talking about that. Didn't I just read that the president is setting up like basically a czar to look over all of this because we're very vulnerable?
Yeah, and we are. And I think it's great that the president is doing something about this, but I don't think that it's going to be that effective of a solution. I think that what's going to happen is I think that the people who are not hackers and who are businesses are going to be regulated, and I think that the hackers are not going to so much as care about the regulations. Because if you think about it, hackers, especially the malicious ones, the black hats, they break the law. So you can set all the laws you want. They're going to continue to break them and do what they want to do.
Yeah, you can set up all the boundaries, but they don't acknowledge those.
Right, and so the only thing that you're really doing by setting up those boundaries is limiting the good guys, and that causes problems.
Yeah, and so often that happens. Inadvertently, we end up nailing the good guys, and the bad guys are able to continue.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate.
We are all set. Okay, Adriel, if you were all set, we'll do a second one here talking about social website security on those, and we'll do it in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to This Week in